What's going on, everybody? It's Sacred Eagle. In this video, I'm going to talk about my top 2 concerns going into this season. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can name one of them already, and I talked about that in today's video, grading the Eagles and their draft picks and all that. But honestly, honestly, you guys can guess both of these concerns, because one of them I've been criticizing ever since it became a thing. Day one. Ever since it became a thing. Ever since this position was filled up. That goes back to 2016. And, or actually, I should say, 2016. What am I saying? The coach. I've made plenty of videos. The very first video I ever made regarding the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles was a bad video. A video where I did not like that we got Doug Pederson. I'm pretty sure it's titled Same Old Shit as well. It was made back in, I think, February of 2016 or January, whenever it was when we got Doug Pederson as a head coach. My first initial reaction was not very good. But, Harry Roseman started making some good plays, good picks and everything like that. We ended up getting Carson Wentz, which was a big steal, and it's still a big steal to this day, and for future seasons as well. But I'm concerned. I've been concerned ever since we went from 3-0 to what, 5-5, 5-6, just in a blink of an eye. I remember we were 3-0. We played the Lions game, and we had a mess up. I think it was Ryan Matthews who fumbled the football. Dallas, he didn't go. He called in the punt unit instead of a field goal try, and instead of going up 23-13, we ended up being ahead 23-20. And after that, Wendell Smallwood fumbled the football, and then you know the rest of the story. We lost in overtime. Baltimore, Carson Wentz leads a game-tying, or what should have been a game-tying drive, topping it off with a touchdown, and we go for 2, trying to cap off the win there. We should have just went into overtime. I know our season isn't going anywhere at that point in time. We were 5-8? Something like that. I know we're out of the playoffs. I know, but I like to see my team win. Would it have been cool if he had made the 2-point try and we would have won 28-27? Of course it would have been. But at the same time, that's the riskiest move you could ever make in a position where you do not need to make that kind of move when you have an extra 15 minutes of football you can play. Sorry if you heard that. That's my dog. But Doug Pederson and company, and when I say company, I mean certain players that made mental mistakes, Nelson Aguilar, physical mistakes, Ryan Matthews, or have just not produced Dorial Green-Beckham, you're going to fail. And that's what I'm afraid of right now with just the coaching position. Doug Pederson, you need to check yourself. You really need to watch what you're doing. Make sure you're doing the right thing when September 10th hits up. When we get into that bus and drive down to D.C., your head better be in the game. I know it's still, May 7th? I don't care. 4 months. 4 more months until football. If you guys think about that, 4 months, 3.5 or 2.5 of those months are summer. Summer's going to go by in a blink of an eye, and just like that, kids like myself will be back in school. Older people like myself, or not myself, but you know what I mean, will be in college. Other people getting ready for football. Players, coaches, getting ready for week 1, and it's coming fast. We just got through with the draft over a week ago. And I remember hyping the draft up so much back in March. We're in May. We're 2 months after the free agency. It's insane, and Doug Pederson needs to really sit down and think to himself, am I doing the right thing? Do I know what I'm doing? Because Last year we lost 4 to 5 games that we could have won with no wide receiver core and barely an offensive line at right tackle, at the right side of the freaking offensive line. Nobody there, and a non-existent running game for the most part. Doug Pederson, I have all the confidence in the world. I wouldn't say all the confidence in the world, but I have confidence that you will do what you need to do to ensure that we will be successful this year, next year, and the following years. I'm not expecting a Super Bowl this very year. But what I'm just trying to say is that the Eagles, Doug Pederson, make sure you know what you're doing. I've criticized you so many times during that season. I don't want to go through that again. It was different with Chip Kelly because we actually had a year prior where we imploded on ourselves due to his idiotic mistakes. And in 2015, all hell broke loose. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Doug Pederson because I expect this team to be a playoff Super Bowl contending team within the few years. Honest to God. Just make sure you know what you're doing. Please.